I think they don't want to admit that AI cannot do marketing. To admit they still need marketers, especially for the strategy part. You can vibe code in a day or two, and that will
I,
be your lead magnet. The strategy has to be human first, and AI is not capable to do that.
hey, Weirdo, welcome back. And today I'm excited to welcome back Ginny Delaitre, the founder of UX Marketing, CEO of VDS Digital Agency, and somebody who's been doing a lot of sharp thinking at the intersection of user experience, marketing, and AI. And fun fact, she was the first ever guest on The Weird Canadian and the first ever guest to come back on The Weird Canadian. So you might see Jenny more in the future. We'll see how this pans out. But as far as I'm concerned, she can be a recurring guest all the time. It's great having a conversation with her and what she's doing. This is about the experience a lot of people have before they become a customer. That a lot of founders, creators, and small business owners are asking right now. What happens when vibe coding starts changing not just how we build products, but how we market them? What makes Ginny interesting on this subject is she's not approaching it like a hype cycle commentator. She's looking at it as a practitioner. She's looking at it as a practitioner. In her recent writing, she argues that vibe coding can actually help brands create faster, more tailored experiences. Websites, landing pages, lead magnets, newsletters, tools, even games, all designed to make marketing more useful and more human. At the same time, she's careful about the trade-off. She has written candidly about the strengths and weaknesses of these tools like Lovable, Codex, and Claude, and about the risks of moving so fast that AI that everything starts to sound, look, and feel the same. Today, I want to dig into both sides of that conversation: vibe coding as a new creative, an operational superpower, and vibe marketing as a challenge of building brands and still feeling distinct, intentional, and human in an AI-saturated world. Ginny, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this introduction.
What is a truth in your industry that people do not want to admit?
I think they don't want to admit that AI cannot do marketing. It's want to believe they can do everything with AI, and they don't want to admit they still need marketers, especially for the strategy part. And all the marketers are like shouting in the void right now, saying, "Hey, you still need us. You do need us." And I think that's the truth in the industry.
Very fun. Everybody's afraid of the new bad beast, and only a few are actually exploring it and understanding where it's coming and going from. How did you come about this understanding? Like, why did you get into vibe coding?
So I was a developer a very long time ago. I started like about 13 years ago being an iOS developer, actually. So I was doing mobile apps, I was doing Objective-C, and it was even before Swift. So I was doing my little apps. I did that for 4 years. So it wasn't just a small company, it was an actual business. And then I stopped. I did more design, UX, user experience. My degrees are in design, so I study interior design and stuff like this. So I sort of let it apart, like for a long time, just because it was. So development was really hard on me. It's like if you're a developer, it's like it's a lot of mental, energy and stuff. And I was just tired, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. But when vibe coding started, I was just like, oh, I can just talk and I get the same result. And I still had, of course, the knowledge, all the coding knowledge, because that's important with vibe coding, and we may discuss that, but having the knowledge is important. You need to know what you're doing. Unfortunately, it's not a no code experience. It's like you don't code, but there is code.
I think where you're trying to get is the engineer's mind is very focused on the end product, but actually understands how to get there as well. So it's like you focus on the little parts, but you always see the whole at the end is, I think, how we think about it.
Exactly. You're right.
How is that helping you with marketing now? Like, how has that changed your game for marketing?
Yeah, so when I started vibe coding first, I was like, oh, it's fun. I'm doing my little apps. But then I was like, okay, I'm a marketer. How do I apply these new technologies, this wonderful technology we have now? Because I have started like a year and a half ago, and it has evolved so much. And especially at the end of 2025, I was like, okay, now it's it works. You can vibe code stuff very easily. How do I apply that to marketing? How do I apply that to my job? My clients were like starting to ask around and say, hey, I can vibe code so much things, how do we use that? So that's sort of how I came to how we do vibe coding for marketing and what can we vibe code. So of course there is a product part, and I'm very tied to my products when I work for startups, usually because when I do UX marketing, it's like user experience marketing, meaning that you need, for example, you have a SaaS and you are trying to bring users to it, or you have an app, you are trying to bring users. So marketing doesn't stop just when they open it. It's like it's still ongoing until they actually convert and become users. So there is a little bit of UX and marketing in the product itself. So vibe coding can, it's almost obvious, be used for that part, like the onboarding. How do you improve the experience when they first open the app or the website? But then
no worries. I just wanted to say it's very fair. And as somebody who is a programmer and is releasing their first app, marketing has been my struggle. Even with this channel, I still do not know marketing, and I can vibe code pretty much anything nowadays.
yeah, so exactly. And you have the knowledge. So I think a lot of people are like you, they know vibe coding, they have their product. And I think if you're a developer, you're good at doing your onboarding, your conversion, like as soon as they have the app. And I was like, okay, this is great, but how can we go further? And then marketing, so vibe coding can be used at, I think one of the main things that we couldn't do before and that was almost available to only big companies was like lead magnets. Because when you're a small business, like you just have a channel or, website or small thing, you cannot just create a whole app. I mean, before you couldn't create a whole app as a lead magnet. It would have been so expensive and time consuming. And so you are doing maybe a PDF, like something you can share, like a PowerPoint presentation or something like this that you will share to your client with some value in it for free. But it's not, it was just a presentation. Whereas now you can almost build a free tool. You can vibe code in a day or two, and that will be your lead magnet.
I didn't even think about that. Like you could give away a free part of your software, or even just a completely separate software that's free to use to bring in users to your higher paid or different software.
I agree. So I would really advise to try this idea. For example, I have one lead magnet that I created on my website. I offer marketing services. Now I have just a small tool when you put your website, and it gives you, is it good for GEO? And if not, of course, there is a little bit CTA, hey, contact me, I can help you.
Yeah.
But that's a lead magnet. A lead magnet is I'm testing something very personal. And for you, it could be like I'm testing, I don't know, it's like, it can be anything. It can be a quiz. It can be, like a personality quiz, a psychology quiz, or what should I do for this? I mean, it can be just a mini game. I was talking about mini games in my article, something really fun that you can develop in just a day or two. And then you just put it online. And then so of course, in all these lead magnets, you have email. So usually at some point, you ask people to enter their email to get, for example, if it's a little quiz, you have done that so many times on other website. At the end, you finish the whole quiz. It took you like 10 minutes. And at the end, you have to put your email to get the answer, right?
Yep.
So this was available for only big companies before. But now everybody just, in their little office or little bedroom can do that. So I think that's the power of vibe coding. And that's something that people don't realize yet they have the power to do.
Do you see small businesses taking advantage of this by getting rid of their companies that are building their websites for them? Like, do you actually see small business owners switching from the hosted model to doing their own thing?
I would be careful with that, because the problem is, so vibe coding is great and it's really fast and easy, but there is maintenance, and a lot of people don't forget about the maintenance. It's like you do your WordPress website, it's easy. You can do it yourself, but then you let it stale, and the WordPress website will slowly, not being updated. The plugin are not up to date. The database needs just to clean up, blah, blah, blah. And then it's been a year, nobody touched the WordPress website and the contact form doesn't work. How many times this happened to small businesses? Like they don't touch their website for so long, and then one day they decide to test their contact form and it just doesn't work. because the
Fair,
plugin behind it hasn't been updated.
very
Vibe
fair.
coding is not solving that. So if you vibe code, you have to constantly update the app, fix the bugs. It's like
It's
it's a
another
whole thing.
it's another process you have to add to your list on a daily return. Actually, I never even thought about updating the packages and stuff because I've been vibe coding my websites and I didn't even think about doing that. Maybe I should go check mine. Wow, you're showcasing a lot of things even I'm missing out on apparently.
Yeah, because you have your packages like if you that you use, and it's okay, but some gonna be vulnerable. I mean, I think if you have a website and you vibe code it yourself, it's okay to just go there like every 3 months. You don't have to be every day on your website, but you have to think it's like a WordPress website. When you have a WordPress, every 3 months is you just go into it, update the plugin, check the contact page is working, blah blah blah, that there is no weird stuff going on, that all your images are okay. This is the same kind of maintenance you have to do on your vibe coding tools. So saying I'm just going to vibe code and let it's kind of risky, especially if it's your lead magnet. So if it's your website and your lead magnet, you should definitely check them. You can also certainly use some API to just, there are free websites even to set up that. Is it still online? Because if it takes down for any reason, you receive an email and just your website is down, something happened. You connect it to the Google SEO console and you get alerts. So
Mm.
having all these alerts will help people, because you cannot just vibe code and wait.
So I'm a little bit more advanced in that. I just bought a mini PC. I'm planning on setting up some agents to actually like keep track of things on top of. So as I build things, I know I'm going to be building a lot of applications. One of the second app that I'm building right now is called Invoice, and essentially it allows you to create an invoice by just saying it into your phone, sending it to somebody. And I'm going to basically every time I create something new, I want an agent to always be monitoring it, just making sure it's great,
Yes.
updating it if needed. Like the the time I need to spend actually coding nowadays is very minimal. All I have to do is tell my agent certain keywords, and it'll run off and do those things and tasks. Um,
Yeah.
I assume that most people are not that advanced yet.
Yes, exactly. So that's why it's like, I think I mean, what I see with my clients is they do vibe code stuff. They sometimes start by themselves, especially with Lovable that you mentioned. Lovable is a very good way when you have no code experience to just start something. Because if you use Claude, you will have some stuff that are more advanced. Like, I don't say you need to be a developer, but you will like have some stuff that you
It,
have to
it
do.
makes you set up a lot of configuration and things that are outside of the application that is a little bit more technical. I do say like it will walk you through it, but it is a little bit more. You have to ask it to do things more than what Lovable will do, and you just give it a document and it'll run with it.
Yeah, so it depends your level. But if you're, very, even someone who never code of their whole life can open Lovable or follow, code instruction with a couple of. If you have like a little bit of time to learn, it's not that complicated. They make it simple. But what happened with my clients is they did that, but it wasn't. But then they start to make mistakes, and it wasn't professional enough. So basically, usually I let them work, and then I take what they did and I just clean it up. So one of the main issue, and I wrote a full article about it with AI, is it's cluttered. It's like
Mm.
AI is doing too much. Like it's gonna add a title, a subtitle, a button, I don't know why, like a hover on the button is like, you see the screen, it's like, wow, it's like full of text. And you're just like, okay, so there are some UX flows that individual can retain 5, 7, or 9 information at the same time. 9 is really like, it's taking, so you have to think like someone are doing other things in their life when they are on your website. So if it's 9, like my dog is bothering me right now, that's probably 1 or 2. So, it's like, it's not 9 on the screen, it's 9 total. So if you put all this information, for example, if you have like 12 buttons, when you open a web page and you see 12 things, it's too much. The human brains cannot process that. So people are going to process the first, probably 3, 5, and then they're going to sort of stop. Then they can read, again, but that's something that people never think about when they vibe code. They vibe code, and there is all of a sudden like 20 things on the screen, a sidebar, a nav bar, a footer, a second sidebar, and you're just like, what the hell is going on? So I think it's the issue with vibe coding right now. AI think through UX very much. And each time when I take a client app that the vibe code, I clean it up.
Very fair. And honestly, I didn't even think about that. That's actually a good business for the audience out there. If you want to run a business where you say, if you have a vibe coded app and you want it to be professional, give it to me. I'll take it. I'll make it a professional app for you. That's a good job for somebody out there.
It's a real business. I do that a lot. And I have people contacting me right now, even for their own software. And because I'm specialized UX and I have a client actually, that's going to be a client in a few, we're going to sign the contract. It's like, he basically contacted me. I was like, oh, I have this website that hasn't been updated for so long. It's internal. It's for my team, but UX is so bad. Can you use vibe coding to just improve it and make it clean? I was like, yes, because now we have the tool. It's easy. So if you look for a business idea, there are so many people out there who have apps that are not ready yet to be in prod, but they have an idea, they start to vibe code it, and you just need this little step. If you have these, capacities to clean it up, make it pretty, make it on brand, and push it to production with all the safety and security, and technical aspect we need for production, this is definitely a job for the future.
Very fair. And just to give a little bit more context, for anybody creating an app, the first thing I do before ever creating an app is go get AI to build out a PRD, a product requirements document that gives me the styling, everything I'm looking for, just so that when I'm giving that document over to the AI, it is as professional software speak as possible. That was my problem with a lot of these vibe coding software is they don't interpret real language really well. But when you give it coding language, it instantly knows exactly what you mean. I think the big difference in how I see vibe coding right now is being more technical is because it still relies heavily on the technical terminology and usage.
Correct.
Do you see, how many years do you see before that becomes taken over?
You mean taking over? AI is taking over all the marketing?
Yes. Basically,
I don't think so. So we are talking a lot. So on the marketer part, really marketing. Marketers are talking a lot with AI because marketing is one of the first field that just take AI because as a marketer, you do a lot of wrong, like grilling work. For example, creating social media posts. Oh my God, you have to create a social media post every other day for like 5 brands. How many posts it is? It's like marketers were all like overloaded by work already. We had 100 tabs open and it was a mess. So now we are taking AI to help us going through that mess. But there is one thing that marketers are saying, that's why you shouldn't automatize your marketing, because there is one thing that people forget. Marketers are not only doing this type of work, we were doing it because we had to, but what we were doing and what we were supposed to do is the strategy. And that's not something AI can do. I have tried, I was like, okay, I have this, this market. Can you give me the target market? It is wrong. The first time it gave me the target market, it is wrong. So I have to correct it. I was like, no, that's not my target market. This is what it is. Can you now do a research on that? Okay. And wrong again. All right. You are wrong. We're going to, so this is my conversation with AI when I work on my target market. And that's my fear, because my fear is like, okay, if you have no knowledge, you just ask AI and he just throw you something. Another thing very important is marketing is about consistency. It's not about like having the best, wonderful idea. It's just having an idea and holding to it. And people don't understand that. People think marketing is like being so, getting viral, having these unique things, but this is not true. Marketing is just this boring thing that you do every single week with the same logo, and you're going to like put this logo everywhere, and your logo can be so ugly, but you see how many companies you see that are so working so well? They have an ugly logo. They have a bad website. They're just so bad at everything. The only thing they're good at is being consistent. And it works. It sadly works. It sadly works because they're,
Show is case in point. I just haven't stopped, and I've grown. Like, it's not I haven't done anything special. I keep on doing the thing. Like I'm changing over time, but it's still the
Yeah.
same show. I've just been consistent at it, and I've just slowly grown. And as you said before we started, that a lot of the people that you went on podcasts last year aren't even around anymore. That consistency is what saved me.
So exactly. So marketing is just being consistent. It's being stupidly consistent. So AI can help for that, but the strategy has to be, very thoughtful. And I think the strategy has to be human first. And AI is not capable to do that right now. And I don't think it will ever be, capable to replace the human aspect. So using AI for marketing, yes, we definitely should, put in place AI agent, making them do the grilling work. I do believe in the future we could have AI agent auto checking their work, making sure, for example, for the social media post, I'm going right now very far toward that because it's very annoying to do. And having AI, like one AI is creating the post, another AI is checking the post, the third one is like doing the visual and then posting. I'm not there yet because I stopped them in the process right now, but this is the idea. I think in the future we will get there where AI is doing this whole thing and auto checking itself, but the strategy behind it is still important and it still has to be done by a marketing team. And the marketer job will be more like overseeing all that.
Yeah.
As if you had a little team of employees and you're just like a manager basically of all these AI agents. But giving just your marketing to an AI and say, hey, do that and make me famous. It's just like,
The viral is not a word AI knows. I said, in order to get something viral, I think the equivalent is objectively compelling, emotionally triggering, and clickbaity or something along those lines. It's not the word viral. It still doesn't understand that. Our language is still a big barrier for AI. But I
it
do
is.
appreciate that you're building teams, because I don't see AI like we talk about AI as this big monolithic thing. And though big companies have these giant AIs, which again, they're not AIs, they're LLMs, but you don't need the big ones. This the agents and um, the AIs that actually do the work are the ones that are small, specialized, and know one thing and one thing really well.
Yes.
Um, do you see marketing teams now just being over glorified managers from now on?
I don't know. It's like it's very difficult to know exactly where marketing is going because it's evolving very fast. But I see what the marketers are talking about is system, and that's what I'm also doing right now. Is like we need to create marketing systems, and in this marketing system, there are going to be AI agent, there are going to be AI agent doing the marketing research, there are going to be other agent executing tasks, there are going to be other agents, improving even the strategy and stuff like this, but marketers are really like in the system kind of mindset right now. And I actually changed my title to marketing system consultant because I do think the system part is what's going to save us. And how do we build that? But again, it's like saying we don't need people is like building an AI agent. It's a lot of time and make it work properly. And again, maintenance after. And it costs a lot of money. So it's like when people say AI is going to do everything for me, it's like, I'm like, did you already build an AI agent in your whole life and make it work the way you want it to work without any issue? And it's running every day and it works well. It's like,
Not
give
yet,
me, give
but
me.
soon.
Exactly. We are all like this. Give me the recipe because I'm not there yet.
It's funny you say that because I'm actually starting to build agents more for this ability because I see too much going on with scams and things like that. So I've been actually working on building agents to protect people. So
Mhm.
essentially a front interface to your phone. So you give all your agent details to somebody, and then that agent would then parse everything for you and give you the information you need. But these types of systems are coming in. It's just we're not there yet, and this is why I shout to the top of my lungs. I hate this tech CEOs that keep on saying we're all doomed, jobs are gone, blah 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 blah. I'm like, these people don't use the systems. They don't understand
Yes.
how they don't work. They don't understand how they do work, but yet they're telling us the future is bleak. And I'm like, I only see opportunity. I don't. I see the pain. I do. I'm not gonna gloss that over. I do see the pain. We're coming into a new era where nobody knows what's gonna happen. Nobody knows if there's gonna be work, how that work's gonna look like, what we're gonna do as human beings. But at the end of the day, I only see humans as being it's the last thing. When I started giving my all to AI, I became more human. And that says something to me because I'm taking a lot of the things I do and letting AI do that and allowing my time to be directed to the human element of things. And I think that's where my coding and my stuff comes through is because I'm actually implementing myself in it, not just handing it off
Yeah.
and saying, go do it.
Exactly. And I think it's everything. It's like people think AI will replace human, and it's like the big CEOs will say that, but honestly they don't even work. They didn't work before. They were not doing the job. And these people are just here to say to everybody like, oh, everything is fine, AI will replace all the workers, and then they fire everybody just because, it's a good layoff opportunity for them to make more money. And we all say that layoffs are not because of AI. Layoff is because you need money in the bank, and salary is the main reason a company is losing money. So is it just lay off to get more money in the bank? It's not. We have to stop saying AI is like taking over jobs. I think, and when you see the actual people, I mean, I'm talking because I'm a marketer. I use AI a lot. I know other marketers, they use AI a lot. And then you talk to other people with other type of jobs, and they're like, I use Copilot. And you're just like, oh my God. And you're just like, what can you do with Copilot? Nothing. So it's like, it's not even an AI to me, It's like,
My co-pilot only is to search Facebook posts because Facebook blocks it from the agent from accessing it itself. So like co-pilot to me was a nice like, hey, we can have your agent on your computer, but I'm like, I'd still prefer my agent on my separate computer doing its own thing that I've coded because yeah, like they're still not there that it's not even to the point where it can use a computer properly.
oh no, no. And I have no hope for Windows. It's like you see words and you're just like, it will never work. So that's the thing. Is like I think that the end of my thought is like people are saying that AI is taking over jobs, but then when you talk to actual people, how do you use AI in your job? What do you do with AI? They just don't do much right now. And then you see the cost. And I think that's something people are discovering, especially now that we're in April. And AI has starting in January, everybody's like, oh, we're going to go all AI. And now they are looking at their bills and they are looking at their invoices and how much they pay. And they were like, oh my God. It's like we are replacing people with a technology that is extremely expensive. And a lot of companies that switch to all AI and build all these agents are stepping back because it costs so much money. And they are like, okay, and now it's a reverse thinking. It's like, what can we do by ourselves so we don't use these agents that are super costly? And and what can we give back to the teams that was super easy, and now we are making agents think so much about that and use so many tokens for it, whereas a normal person could do that easily instead. So it's like we already see that, and we are just in April. So I think there's going to be a step back after this craziness because there is money, and it's like money is going to stop people at some point. If your agents are too expensive and it costs less to have an employee, you're going to go back towards a human.
Well, and not only that too, I think there's also the perceived image of a company, right? If you have a company and all it is AI, I don't think people are going to want to interact with it as much as somebody that's running a company that has humans to be there as their interface. Um, is that what you see too? Like I don't as much as I see the billion-dollar unicorn being a one-man show, like I could see that being one or two companies. I can't see it being many.
Yes, and actually, it was part also of my last article saying that if you generate AI, and especially AI slop, that is really, so it's a word I think we can talk about. So AI slop is basically you generate a lot of AI, you don't check it very much, you don't. It happens. So what I say in my article, it happens when you multiply instead of downsizing. So for example, you have a one-line prompt and you ask for a blog article about it. AI will have to invent most of the word of it. So it's going to be slop. what I advise is you have a blog article and you go toward a blog, like a social media post, for example. So you downsize the content. And this works. This works really well. Downsizing content works. Multiplying and ask for AI to invent, like if you say, I want a blog article about marketing, what is going to talk about? Just like, it's like it's going to be just random slop everywhere. It's like you have to give more information to get the results and not the reverse, one line to get this. So
very fair. So I just want to tell the audience about a tool that I came across. It's called Whisperflow. So now I don't even type anymore. I just use my mic, and it types everything that I say into my microphone. Perfect text. If I change it, Whisperflow now actually updates its diary or its dictionaries to have my language. Is very good. But using your voice actually gives you more content than typing it out. I didn't realize how slow I was at typing, and I'm a slow typer as is. But as soon as I switched to the mic, I give so much more information, more like ideas, and on top of that, it's easier.
yes,
You're not trying to like. It's essentially what you're saying. You're taking what you have, and actually, you're doing what the AI can't do. You're multiplying. You're not downsizing when you
no, you're
switch from voice.
downsizing. You're not multiplying. You're downsizing. You take a lot of information from your voice and you downsize.
There you go. Yeah. But in terms of how the human does it, we upsize or we downsize to the text, but from our verbal, which is upside, like the multiple. So essentially,
Yes.
I've multiplied my ability to type, whereas that increases the AI's ability to downgrade that.
Exactly. That's exactly what, and it's like, it's just word I was using, but it's the idea you give a lot of info. So you talk, so that gives a lot of information. And I like this idea. I love talking to AI. I think talking is better because you talk a lot. Like you can see, we talk a lot as humans. So you can talk a lot, and then AI is taking these random thoughts and making it something better. But it's not going to invent anything because it's going to take what you have and your thoughts.
Just to give some clarity out there, I've been using this for 16 days and I have talked a total of 49,600 words.
Wow. That's a lot of words. Yes. But yeah, so that's a really good tool for people. I think they should definitely try that instead of typing, because when you type, you don't type enough. You will never type enough. You will never be fast enough. It's going to be like really hard to type enough information for an AI.
And the reason I suggest using Whisperflow over one of the AI's inherent chat versions is sometimes I don't find it picks up as much. This is usable across everything. So like I can even use it on social media posts, like anywhere. So I actually don't type a whole lot on my computer anymore. Most things I'm just talking about it. And the other side to it is it doesn't talk back to you. It's nice.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, because the AI is talking back to you and you're just like, you don't want that. You don't want to hear that. So
even when AI tries to like get me to clarify questions, it gives me a giant list of questions and I'm like, can you just give them one by one and let me talk through them? Because if I have to give you 10 answers in one single prompt, it's going to be hard. It's breaking it down to the individual level that it really makes it easier, and you end up talking a lot more. Actually, most of my book is written by just me talking through with AI.
That's interesting. So yeah, so to answer your question, AI stuff is really easy to make. And the problem is if you over-generate content and you do a lot of slop, what's going to do for your marketing? First, people notice AI-generated content. And some people are against it. Some people are kind of okay, but careful. Some people are not, that's fine, but they will notice. So there is one thing. So that can reduce trust. And trust is one of the most important things in marketing. So if you see a company using all AI posts and a company that is actually using, normal kind of post with human beings, people will go more towards a human being still. So for marketing, I will advise to be very careful, especially for your visual. Don't start, generating AI faces too much, because people notice they are too perfect. The two sides of the face are the same. It's just what we call the uncanny valley. People notice these uncanny things and they will just like, are they real? So that's one thing. And the other thing is, if you do slop, like real slop, and it just goes everywhere. I mean, put you in your shoes of the person working with you. do you want to work with, like, do you want to pay someone when they do slop for themselves? Maybe
Fair.
not. It's like you will like, okay, if they are capable to just don't care and they just do slop everywhere and they use AI without, being careful, they don't even like read through what they share, and then I'm gonna pay them to do my, my actual, like, the thing I need. Even if the service they offer is different, it's gonna reduce, I think, the trust in this company. So when I see company full AI and they're like everything is done by AI, I'm just like, you are taking a big risk because you're going to sell to people who are only pro AI. And that means you're going to lose, like, how many markets are going to, are fully pro AI?
And it's actually decreasing. I think this year AI became the top hated thing above Iran, if I'm not mistaken. They just said that this morning or yesterday. It being the top fear is AI.
So I think personally, when I do my social media posts and marketing, I do AI in a way that is not visible. So, for example, I use AI to help me write my social media post, but I always read through it. I retype above it, but I use AI for that. I use AI to do blog article, but again, I retype above it. My own Substack is actually no AI. I have decided that for myself. So one of the reasons I do that is because I want to write with AI later. But again, I need enough I need enough blog posts that are being made by me with my voice to be able to give that to an AI, and then AI will write like me. But I don't want to say to AI, hey, write, and then I lose my voice. So I wanted to write a lot of posts first. And then maybe when I have 20, 50 of them, I will give it to an AI and say, can you analyze my voice and see if it can reproduce the way I talk and the way I write? So that's why sort of my idea with this Substack. And I think people should think about that a little more. Like, instead of using AI right away, try to create a lot of content yourself. Then AI can analyze it and try to figure out what is make you you, and then it's like basically teaching, you're mentoring someone. So because if you imagine you hire a new hire and is going to write for you text, you're just not going to say, hey, write. You're going
Gonna
to
give them.
explain, yeah, give them instruction, right? You're going to tell them how you write. So this is the same for AI. You have to tell it the way you want it to be done. So it's, that's why when I see someone like, oh, everything is AI, I'm just like, oh my freaking god.
The nice part. So I was laughing because I'm like, anybody who wants content and content fast, just create a podcast. Like, I have so much in my voice, how I talk, all transcribed on my computer right now. Actually, I think I'm at 116 episodes now, so I have a
Wow.
good chunk of change. And yeah, this is the fastest way to make content. The fastest way to get my voice in the system is to just have conversations with people, put them online, and have it understand that. But I'm also, so this is a fun thing that I've kind of put out there. I'm also 1% of me believes that the internet is building us in the digital realm. And I just kind of want to give as much as myself there in case it ever becomes sentient or something. At least that, like, there's a version of me that is based on me. That's my weird conspiracy out there. But we don't know where the world's going to go. AI is moving so fast. As of today, they just released the new Claude update, so they're having a new model come out today or tomorrow, and it's supposed to be
every
better.
other day.
Right. And so this is what I've been saying, or I say to the choir here, is we're in the singularity. We're at the point where technology is so exponential. Changes are happening not even daily; they're happening twice a day now, and we're just going to get more and more of it. Do you worry that swell is going to overwhelm us?
So I'm already overwhelmed personally. So the way I do is, like, at first I was following all that. Last year I was like, last year it was possible to follow because it was not twice a day. It was just, every 2 weeks. You have new things you can shake on. Right now, since February, it's every other day. You tell me twice a day. I didn't even notice it was twice a day. I push the click button on my clothes like I don't know how much time I push this update button because it just keeps on updating. It's too much. And I agree. It's like I'm overwhelmed. So the way I done it is like I will let them, do all this update. I will just let them do all this update because it won't change my daily. Because thinking about it, it doesn't change much my daily work
Mm.
and workflow. It doesn't change my lead pipeline. I mean, my leads are sinking, right now. It's not an AI update that makes them decide to work for you or not. It's like it's their life, it's their budget, it's everything else. So it, if you think about it, it's like you can not care that much. I mean, you can follow, but you don't have to be like behind each update, unless it's really, you are writing a blog about Claude, then you have
Or
to. But it's,
you're like me who talks about it on the daily. Yeah, like, and the nice part is I haven't been overwhelmed yet. But I've been at forefront of tech for my entire life. It is actually getting to the point where I'm starting to see too much of it, and I'm like, okay, like, what am I trying to build? Is it possible to build it right now? If it is, don't worry about what's coming in the future, because I can build it right now, and whatever comes down the line, I'll just have to incorporate later.
that's my thoughts. It's like, honestly, I use N8N for my marketing. I haven't changed my N8N flows for like a year. This
Mm.
is the same flow I built last May. I didn't even I didn't even the model on some because I tried to update my GPT 4.0 and I didn't like it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just go back at 4.0. I mean, this GPT works better and costs cheaper because again, money. And I was just like, so my N8N flows are working. They are the same. Yes, I will update them, but I think it doesn't matter to use the last opus clip to write my social media posts because my social media posts are good. They are making results. My clients are satisfied. I am satisfied. Having the last opus clip doing my social media posts won't change my life. So I think it's everybody, it's like we have to put limits on that and say, okay, the world is going crazy, but I don't have to follow all this crazy. I just have to be aware enough. Um, and then if there are big changes, we just pause, we go through with clients and we just like, are we using it now? Is it too soon? And it just has, that's why it's all back to the strategy
I
because
I was yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that. I was talking to another or a brand manager at one point, and they had said that 2026 is the you need to be online. There's no ifs, ands, or buts anymore. You have to be online nowadays. Is Do you see that in your work as well?
yeah, I think you have to be online. Even like I work for some clinic, and even like it's a very physical, doctor space. But they have to be online, and I think it's very important to be online. But it doesn't mean you have to use AI on a daily basis, or it's like having a website is important, but it
Mm.
was important before. Your website doesn't have to be like it does. It does have to be searchable by AI. That's why I was talking about geo. It's important,
Mm.
but also that is like you don't have to integrate AI in your website. This AI chatbot, be careful, it's like, and there are a lot of out there that are pretty cheap, that you can just like download and use. So it's like, you don't have to have something super, super complex, especially if you have a brick and mortar business. The only thing you have to be is searchable on Google and searchable on ChatGPT. And that's
Perfect.
that's it. That's being digital, and have Google reviews. It's like Google reviews works best than anything else.
the
So
the reason I say that is because I now, or I live in a small town and nobody has anything, so it's like trying to get them on board. I've just been working with them. A couple of them have reached out and I've built a website or two, but yeah, it's just getting them over the like, hey, it doesn't matter how big it is, it just needs to be something aside from a phone number.
exactly. Yeah. You have to have an email that is not Gmail.
Yeah.
You have to have a real email account with a real domain and a small website that can be just one page website, a Google My Business page with Google reviews. That's all you need. But yeah, you have to have that. I think it's like a business that just has this phone number. The problem is if you do that, so you can do this, but think about it. Millennial will never call. So you block yourself to an age range that is getting older and older. If it's your target market, then fine. But I mean, as a millennial, I hate calling. We hate phone calls. We do. So if you want to reach millennials, just add an email or a chatbot, that we can chat to something, or just like add an email that we can email something, because we don't want to call you to take an appointment. Just do a schedule appointment online. So it's like it's stupid, but it depends your target market. But yeah, definitely, if you're a small business, you just have a scheduler online. Even my tattoo artist started to do that. So it's like,
I'm working with my local auto body shops just to like, please, can I build this for you?
it's like, it's like for piercing and tattoos. Now you just go online and schedule is so easy. And she was using Instagram before, you had to text her on Instagram and stuff like this. But the problem with social media, it's you don't control anything. So that's what I was saying to people. A lot of these shops, little businesses, have a Facebook page, and they have an Instagram account, but you have no control over that. It's not, people think, and I don't know why, I'm posting on Facebook, my followers will see it. I'm sorry, but no.
If I'm not
Nobody will
mistaken,
see it.
Facebook actually came out and said that they won't see it. Not too long ago, Facebook had an allegation that your followers weren't actually seeing any of your posts.
No, they don't. Actually, usually when you see the post and you look into it in the data, and you see the analytics, it's seen more by non-followers.
Yep.
So don't think, I mean, and I know it's stupid, and it should be, and it was probably 10 years ago. You have a Facebook page with followers, you share a post, these followers see you post, logical. But it's not what is happening. So that's why I'm like, if you don't have an actual email list, if you don't have, anything, you cannot reach these people who are following you. And don't hope that because you just share on Facebook, they will see you. And that's a misconception I think a lot of small businesses have, because they believe like, oh, I'm on Facebook, I have a Facebook page, I share things, that's enough. And you're just like, unfortunately, it's not. So that's why having your own website and your own email list, also SMS list, for small businesses, if you have phone numbers, you can just text them. There are a lot of regulation around that, but I really advise to do that for hairdressers, all these little things, when you can just like send a text message to all the people and say, hey, we have a promotion right now, and you will get real results. Whereas sharing on social media, you have to think it's good, but it's something like, it shouldn't be your primary way of reaching people. You need control, and the only way you have control is your own website, your own scheduler, your own email list, your own phone number list. Everything that you own and that is yours. And most of the shops have that. They have all these emails of the people, but they never use it, and then they share on Facebook instead to give information to them. And you're just like, no.
You could just send it in their email contest just to get as many email addresses as possible.
And contests are wonderful for that. When you heard email marketing is dead, in the real brick and mortar small cities world, email and phone numbers is all you need. I receive email from a veterinarian, and I'm not going to unsubscribe for that, because I get news about if they're open or not, when I need to go for my dog. I like receiving an email saying, hey, your dog needs to go, to the vet. It's great. I open it, schedule, it's done. So that's how small businesses are going to make money and have repeating clients.
Don't sell your lists, please. Please do not sell your email lists.
Oh, yes, that's a very important. It's like, if you have a business and you get emails, be respectful with these people. Because I had actually someone contacting me, and you have all these people, like it was an AI conferences. They wanted me to participate, and the only thing I had to give them is my email list. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to subscribe first and see what happened. I have received from them 25 emails in like 5 days. And I was just like, I don't want my email list to get that. Yeah. I refuse my email list to get that much email. So that many emails. So that's, email lists are very valuable, and people are going to try to buy you or to make you give them these emails. Don't do it. Be respectful,
because the trust of your customer is worth way more than that whatever that company's going to give you for that list.
Exactly. It's like you don't lose your customers just because you want money or whatever from these people. It's like it's not worth it.
It
So
very is. I want to just do one quick thing for our audience here because I just thought about it, and I think it would be good for both of us. So I am going to offer out anybody out there. I'll run the contest. It'll be down in the comments below, but I will offer one lucky winner a chance to have their vibe coded app really built. I will sit with them. I will build out their app. That if they give me what they have, I will build it out for them free of charge. Can you just plug in where you are, who you are, where you're at, and where people can find it?
sure. I'm Ginny. I'm CEO of VDS Digital. I am the creator of UX marketing, user experience marketing. It is the system I have developed and I'm writing about. You can find me on Substack. I think all the link will be below. And I just wanted to end, if you're overwhelmed and you're just done, close your computer, go for a walk without your phone, and you will see that AI is not everywhere.
Very fair. And I wrote an article on the next big entrepreneurial boom in Canada, which is tourism businesses. And I will link that article down below.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining in.